Here we go. The fight breakdown prediction. Before I get into that, hit the thumbs up, sub, and notification bell. That way you get updated when I drop the newest content like this. That being said, let's get into the breakdown. Look, before I do that, both guys came in on weight. Errol Spence, 147 on the dot. Terence Crawford, 146.8. Both men made weight easy. They both look good on the scale. This was just a ceremonial weigh-in. They did that way earlier today around 11 a.m. in Vegas. So they look good. They look rehydrated. I would say that looking at them side by side, Terence is probably around like 154, 155. Errol Spence currently looks like he's probably about 160 pounds. So bigger, but not that much bigger at the moment. We'll see how big they are tomorrow. Now, let's get into the fight. How do I see this going? In my mind, how I envision this going is Terence Crawford is a slow starter. However, he is going to start a little bit faster in this fight because he knows he cannot afford to get down on the scorecards because it's a PBC-held event. And he just knows he's not the home fighter. It's just not friendly territory for him. So with that being said, I think the first round is going to go to Spence. I see Bud. He's going to let a couple of shots off, but he's going to be more calculating, downloading, seeing what he needs to do. In the second round, I don't see Bud really coming on to the last half of the fight. After you see a minute 30 go by, that's when Bud's going to start trying to come on. Now, that fight, I think, is going to go to Spence as well, just because Bud started a little bit later, but you're going to see him start letting go of counter punches and start trying to work his way to the pocket. The third round is going to come around. I believe this is where Errol Spence's body work is going to show. At some point in the third round, I think he's going to catch Bud, and he's going to make Bud get a little more timid. Not saying Bud's scared, not saying Bud's going to back down or back out of the fight, not saying he's going to be game. I'm just saying he's going to fall back and become more calculated again. He started faster, and I feel like in his mind he's going to feel like, how do I need to adjust to deal with these body shots? So that's what he's going to do. He's going to fall back. Fourth through the seventh round. Fourth through seventh round, I think it's going to be a back-to-back fight. I think it's going to be 50-50 rounds. It could go either way. In the eighth round, this is where I see the beginning of the end. And I don't mean end by knockout. I mean end by decision. But Bud is going to get hurt somewhere in the eighth round, being overly aggressive, not knocked down, hurt. And that is going to turn him into Bud. And what do I mean? Bud does what Bud does when he gets hurt. He gets even more aggressive. He tries to get his lick back. And I think that's going to be his detriment. I think he's going to get a lot of damage inflicted on him because of the volume that Spence is going to come with from the 8th to the 10th round. And the 11th and 12th round, I think things aren't going to be going Bud's way. He's going to revert back to how he fought post-style at 140 and try to fight Spence off the back foot down the stretch. I see it, I want to say an 8-4 for Errol Spence. I think it's going to be around an 8-4 for Errol Spence, but it could be a 7-5. However, the reason why I'm picking Errol Spence is I know Errol Spence is a volume puncher. I know Terence Crawford is a counter puncher. I know Errol Spence is the bigger fighter, not saying that the bigger guy wins by default. However, this is a bigger man that I've never truly seen hurt. People try to say Ugas hurt him. I disagree. Errol Spence was looking at the ground, tracking his mouthpiece, got hit by a shot he didn't even see coming. It bounced him against the ropes, and by the time he was touching the ropes, he was back to normal. And if that type of shot doesn't put him down, it's going to be very hard to drop him. Regardless of Ugas's power, is a shot that he wasn't even paying attention to. He lost all concentration and got hit. It should have put him down, but it didn't. He's got a granite chin. And I just don't see Terence knocking him out. So let me go back over this. Smaller guy, he needs the knockout. I've never seen Spence hurt to where he was going to be knocked out. I picked Crawford to knock out Sean Porter. People said I was crazy, and that's exactly what he did. And this one, I just don't think he can knock out Errol Spence. And I think with all the things that you're looking at, it being on PBC, Crawford being a slow starter, him being a counter puncher against a volume puncher, I just think it's got all the makings for Errol Spence to win on the scorecards. Outside of that, if Bud is going to win the fight, this is the fight to win because Spence has been out of the ring for over 15 months. So he could be ring rusted, he could be slow, he could be delayed. I'm not giving excuses for Errol Spence if he loses. I'm just saying that If this first fight is competitive, if Terence barely beats him by decision and it's a tight fight, I don't look good for the rematch. But I got Errol Spence by decision. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree?